To discuss the Azaria sentencing is Lior Shtelzer, a military law expert who himself is a former Army prosecutor and defense attorney. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
First of all, Lior, what is your reaction to the ruling?
Well, first of all, what has to be said is the basic thing that this result is quite moderate and quite easy, especially relatively to the harsh determinations of the court in the decision of the guilt, and relatively to the severeness of the felony, of the manslaughter. So it's quite moderate, and I believe that even the defense is quite happy with this result. Again, relatively to all that I stated. In my opinion, it's a good solution to a very sticky situation this case has brought everyone into. And I believe the court has made a very good decision by saying, on the one hand, that this is a felony, this is not the conduct that we expect from a soldier, and on the other hand, he does take in consideration all the special circumstances that were in this case, and I believe it's a good call. And even after the appeal, if this decision will remain, it's really the less severe decision that could have been made, and for the defendant, it's quite good.
Attorney Shtelzer, as you mentioned, this is quite a lenient punishment. Are we likely to see an appeal?
Most definitely we're going to see an appeal. First of all, because it's quite of a win-win situation for the defense. They don't have nothing to lose by making an appeal. And in addition, an appeal, it's a very basic and fundamental right for a defendant that his main line of defense has collapsed and denied by the court. And so making an appeal in this case is not only an option, I think it's obligatory for the defense, and we're most definitely going to see an appeal because there's nothing to lose. They will appeal in the next 2 weeks. They will ask from the Court of Appeal to delay the start of serving the sentence, and after all the appeal proceedings that will take about 3 or 4 months, I believe, the final result will be determined by the Court of Appeals, and that will be the end of the story, I believe. Only after that they could address the pardon and procedures like this.
Throughout the trial, Azaria didn't express any remorse. He insisted that he acted in accordance with the rules of engagement. If perhaps he had shown some sort of regret, do you think this would have affected his sentencing?
I believe so, but considering that he already, as I said, got a quite moderate sentence, I'm not sure how practically it would have been make an affection. But it would definitely be seen different if he would regret and say retrospectively he sees now why he made a mistake, and not claiming all the time that his action was justified. It would have been examined differently by the court, and maybe the punish was even lighter.
How do you estimate that this case will affect future conduct of soldiers who may find themselves in a similar situation?
Well, similar events took place before this trial, and they will unfortunately take place after the trial. I don't believe it has an affection on the soldiers in the field, and I don't believe it has any affection on the legal system, except maybe they will learn from their mistakes, their tactical mistakes and their media mistakes along the way, but their professional decisions will remain the same. I don't believe that there will be any effect by this case in the long term.
One last quick question. Do you think that in their ruling the judges took into consideration the public fallout of this case and perhaps its implications on society, which has been completely divided on this issue?
I believe so. I think we can see between the lines in the verdict that they took into considerations all the really exception public way that this trial was being conducted, and I think the punishment and the sentence is a little bit lighter than in the regular situation. If this case was in a vacuum, if this case was clean, I believe the sentence could have been more harsh, and it's okay. I think it's appropriate that they took it into consideration because this case was exceptional in any way you can imagine, and it has to be taken into consideration.
Attorney Lior Shtelzer, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge this evening.
Thank you very much.